This LON-CAPA quick tip is an advanced method for posting mathematical symbols in the discussion board. So suppose I was just looking at some comments and I noticed this one. This person's been able to post limits in a nice way, do a less than or equal sign, post a fraction that looks very good. So they've been able to post mathematical symbols in a nice way in the discussion board. This quick tip, we're going to see how we actually can do this. So let me reply to this discussion and see what we can do. So I can do this too. And what it takes is, if you want to insert a mathematical expression, you have to use M tags. Now I will just stop here to say that this will not always work. Your course instructor has to enable the student to be able to use HTML in discussion board posts. If HTML is not enabled, then this will just display exactly what I type. So this will only work if HTML is enabled. And you'll be able to find that out quickly by just trying it once, and if it works, then HTML is enabled. If it doesn't work, then you're out of luck with this tip. So I'm just going to put two M tags here, an open M tag and a close M tag. And what goes in between these two is the mathematics that I want to be displayed. So for example, if I want to get it to display a fraction, I use \frac, F-R-A-C, and two sets of curly brackets, one to denote the numerator, one to denote the denominator. So the numerator may be 2 plus x, and the denominator let's do as I don't know, 5, something like that. And if I click send, then I was able to get the expression as well. Now it is pretty tiny. We can get it to blow that up a little bit. The commands that we're actually using within these M tags are known as LaTeX commands. Now you don't need to know much about LaTeX other than just it's a nice way to display mathematical content in documents. So the LaTeX command for blowing up font sizes, there are many of them, but I'm going to use capital L large. And if I send that, it's made that fraction a little bit larger. Now I could edit again, and instead of using capital L large, I could do the whole word as capitals. And that made it even slightly bigger, which looks a little bit better now. Let's see what else we can do. So one thing I will note is LaTeX generally requires you to put $signs around the content. So I really should be writing this if I'm using LaTeX commands, but it does recognize it without the $signs and just using the M tags. So what else can we do? Well, we can really display anything we want mathematically as long as we know the right commands. So we've just looked at fractions, which is the \frac command. Suppose I want to do the sign function. Well, it would be \sin, curly bracket, and then what I want to put into the sign function, so maybe 3x plus 1, close curly bracket, and close the M tag. And there we've got the sign of 3x plus 1. Now if we wanted parentheses around the argument of sign, we could always throw those inside the curly brackets as well. And there we go. So you're starting to see why I've called this an advanced tip. Doing this actually requires knowledge of the commands, and the commands are something that you need to look up. So this is a little bit more advanced than the typical user would want to be able to do in these discussion board posts. Okay, let's just look at maybe one more, the limit. So a limit command would be \lim, and then I want something to appear under it, so I could use a subscript. And so let's suppose I want the limit as x, and I use \2 to get the arrow as x goes to 0 of I don't know, let's say sine x over x. So I want to do a fraction here. Oops, I misspelled sine. So I want frac, the numerator to be the sine of x, and the denominator to be x. And then I'll close my M tag. And again, I probably should have dollar signs around this, but it'll work without them. And we can see that it's displayed as limit as x goes to 0 of sine x over x. Again, if I want to blow it up just a little bit, then I can use the large command to scale the font size. And there we go. So if I piqued your interest and you want to know more about how to come up with these commands in order to display math nicely, there is one definite way you can do this. You can Google LaTeX. So that's LATEX. And here I'm going to be more specific. I'll Google the LaTeX wiki book. And I'll click on that link. And what I'm interested in is looking up symbols. So I'll scroll down to mathematics. And then scroll down here to symbols. And under symbols we see there's Greek letters, operators, powers, and indices. So if I look at symbols, there's a bunch of ways to do some of these symbols. If you're familiar with some mathematical logic, for all, there exists. Some Greek letters, you can get some operators in here, powers, the exponential function, some more powers. Notice to do a power, it's just caret, or in other words, shift 6. Shift 6 will give the little caret for a power. To do subscripts, it's just an underscore. There's a great website to help you look up LaTeX symbols. It's known as Detexify. And here you just need to draw a symbol, and we'll tell you the LaTeX command for it. So here I'm going to draw the symbol for pi. And it comes back telling me that it's recognized it as pi, and that in order to use it in LaTeX, I just need to do a \pi. Another symbol you may want to know for Calculus 2 is the integral. So I've done my best to draw an integral sign, and it comes up with a match. \int is the command for displaying that. Detexify is also available as a free app for the iPhone, iPad, and iPod. You can get it, it's just called Detexify, and you're able to draw with your finger right on the screen. Or you can choose from a bunch of lists that are already in there to get the commands. So that's also another nice way to get it. So let's go back to the demo and try one more thing. I'm going to try doing an integral. So it's an M tag, and I'm going to get it to display. If I do double dollar signs, what it'll do is it'll center the content in the middle of the page. So double dollar signs, and now an integral, int, and I want the integral to maybe to go from a to b, so I do subscript a, and then a superscript b, and then I go from a to b of, let's say, just say f of x dx, and double dollar signs, and the closing M tag, and we'll get it to send. And there we go. A nice integral displayed in the post, which everyone's going to be jealous of when they see it. This has been an advanced tip on how to post mathematical formulas in the discussion board.